least you can actually hear me. That's because I added myself to the stream. I should really like. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the sort of person that would ever do live sprints, but I really need to like do something to be able to work out how to use this blinking platform. It's not even that much difficult, but it is.
Oh God. Oh, I'm excited to talk about this though.
Me too.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. So you've reread it, obviously. Well, we read parts.
Yeah,
of it.
we read parts of it. Yeah, to remind myself of what happens earlier on in the book.
What did you think about where we started? Because that threw me for like 5 minutes.
I liked how it started where the first book ended.
Mm-hmm.
It picked up right where it left off. And
but it was like months later because I remember messaging you going, it starts right where it finishes. And then I carried on reading and I was like, no, it doesn't. It's like months later. They've actually planned this.
Yeah, but like the scene where they're at the grave and they're starting to dig up, like,
yeah,
it kind of made me feel a bit icky as well, not gonna lie. I was like, oh, right, you're digging up a dead person. Like, why? I don't understand.
I was really hoping that they were gonna. Obviously, it makes more sense that they went from where they went. But I was really hoping that they were going to dig down so that when they opened the casket, they would see that Lan had no jade. But because they cut through the coffin and they'd sewn the jade into the coffin, I was like, for goodness sake. Honestly, like, if you had gone through the top, you wouldn't have ever found it.
You don't deserve the jade.
Yeah, like, break.
So, you both rated 5 stars, though.
Yeah, it out of the two, this is my favorite because more things happen. The world building is pretty much laid, so it gave more room for us to actually see things. And there was just so many more shocking. Obviously, I think the first one could have been 5 stars if I'd have finished it on time. That's on me, but I knew what was coming, so I think that's why it went down to a 4 star. And I did say that in my vlog as well, but. I think, yeah, for me, this is more of a 5 because there were so many things that I was just like, no, he didn't. No, she didn't. No, they didn't. Honestly,
yeah.
I vlogged the last 150 pages because I was like, she's not. Yes, no, yes. It's how I imagine people watching football. Like that.
Yeah, if you're really invested in that, you're like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I immediately remembered like how much I disliked Barrow and I just wanted bad things to happen to him. And that he dragged in that mute guy just
Oh yeah.
He seemed to be there reluctantly at first, didn't he? So like he had no other choice because obviously his dad had been killed in the last one.
Yeah. Well he had his own set trajectory. He wanted to train, get stronger, and take on the Tar brothers. That's all he wanted to do. Barrow was like, no, we're going to go do this, and we're going to sell shine, and we're going to do these little jobs, and we're going to almost get killed.
Yeah, no, I can understand why.
He want to kill Tar.
He had his own revenge plot out in his head, and it was like, I'm not going to... But obviously, because the only person he had was Barrow, even though he's not really... He sort of like clung to him a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah. But I think it was like he's the only person he had.
Yeah.
But I did like his character arc.
Yes.
He was like, nah, sod you. I'm gonna drug you. But I was the minute he took Barrow's jade and then killed him and then walked away, I was like, no. If you want to kill someone, you have to see the body. You can't just walk away. Can't assume they're gonna die. That's not how it works.
No, like there's no body. They're not really dead. We should know this by now. Like if you don't see that last breath go out, and like you check the pulse, are definitely gone. Like just double, triple check if you're gonna. Not that I'm like advocating real life murder here, but just check. Check there's no pulse. Yeah,
who's gonna kill people?
Check there's no pulse. check that they're like dead, and then you can go on your merry way, and it's fine.
But as well, the end part of Mud's Moot.
Moot.
Well, yeah, it's because I've read it and I've read it how I've seen it.
Oh yeah, because I audiobooked it.
The end of him, and I was like, I was shouting at my book at that point as well when when one of the Tar brothers make Tar is actually the
the one that
is the last name, isn't it?
Yeah.
When they buried him in a box.
Oh no, don't. Like, that is one of my worst fears. That is like being buried alive or drowning. Like, I know it's a lot of people's fears, but being buried alive is just, it's like, it makes me feel sick. And the fact that when they started doing it, I was like, no, they're not going to do that. They're not. No, they're not doing that. Like, just kill it. No, they are. They nope.
Yeah.
No. Like, the whole time I was messaging Chloe and I was like, oh my God. And the last 100 or so pages, when everything happened, I was on the coach to London and I was just
seeing the vlog. I remember. I was like, if that was me, I would have been shouting because I was sat on my couch, literally behind this laptop. Like, I can't stop. I need to finish. What the heck?
I was literally like voice noting Chloe, and I know for a fact that the people on the coach were thinking, "What the hell is she talking about?" Because at one point I went, "Oh no!" Voice noting Chloe, and you can see this guy look up and be like,
well, especially if you're voice noting, going, "I can't believe he buried him. I can't believe he's dead." Like, he's looking and be like, "What is this girl? What is this girl doing? Like,
is he not dead?
Yeah.
Oh God.
But I was also shouting at my book because I was like, he didn't do it. It was Barrow.
I know.
And then Barrow has that part where he's like gone to the casino, thrown away all his money, he's gonna go jump off, and the armless dude was like, "Don't worry, mate, I've got your back." And I was like, "No, don't have his back. It's his fault."
That whole scene where like Hilo actually came and saw him face to face, I was like, please remember him. Stop. Like, just remember who he is and then kill him. Like,
but he does remember who he is. That was the frustrating thing, because the last line of like that chapter or something from Hilo to Barrow is, "I made a promise that I was going to kill you. I guess I can't like live up to that now," or something like that.
Yeah, but it took him so long to. Took him so long to remember who he was. Yeah. And I was really worried that he wasn't going to remember. But the fact that he still got away with not being killed. Like, this kid is such a prick.
I really hope something happens to him. And like, I try very hard not to be that person. Because, like, I know these people are fictional. They're not real. But I don't like to wish badness on anyone. Like, when people cut me up in traffic, I wish a speeding ticket on them. Not harm. Because at least, like, it's not physical harm. But for him, I want physical harm.
He seems to have avoided death, or I'm not going to say avoided harm, because he's been through a lot of harm.
He's a very lucky person, and he says it very well as well in the book, where he's like, the gods have a strange sense of luck for me. I either get very lucky or I'm very unlucky, but they always seem to save him.
Yeah. So I think that's going to lead him into a false sense of security, is that no matter what happens to him, he could be so close to death, but then he thinks that the gods are watching over him and they've saved him for a reason, and like they're looking out for him. So he's gonna, because that's happened quite a few times now. It's gonna be such a false sense of security that he has, and I really, really hope the next time that somebody hurts him, like, they make sure that he's dead. Like, and I want it to come from like Hilo. Yes, and I want it to be Hilo that gets the revenge for the fact that, because he killed Lan. So I know that Hilo being the pillar generally doesn't get involved in like the physical conflict and stuff now, but I want him to be the one that like exacts the revenge for Lan, because that would be like a full circle moment, like he's done it for his brother.
I kind of want Andon to do it though, on the other hand, because Andon took himself. He's like, I should have said something. It was my fault because he was.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel the same way about Woon,
Yeah.
the Weatherman's shadow.
Yeah. I feel so sorry for him.
He's like, I'm not leaving you, Shay, here by yourself because I didn't walk Lan home, and then look what happened to him.
Yeah.
And then like this weird part where he's like in love with her. Like,
yeah, that was. I'm not really sure what the point of that bit was. Like that didn't make sense to me, and
it did feel very left field.
Yeah, it kind of didn't make sense to the story. So obviously, she starts dating that Professor Moreau.
Yeah.
And they start a thing.
I've got so many thoughts on him as well.
So they start dating, and she had that little bit of a attraction to Hilo's fist earlier on in like the Facebook, and I was like, she doesn't seem to have much luck with men, and obviously she is the sister. She's a call sister, so people are very scared of her anyway. So the fact that she started dating this guy, I was like, oh, she finally could be able to have a nice relationship. And then I thought, well, it's the middle book, so something's going to happen. But I thought he was going to die. Anyway, that's another thing. I think everyone's going to die that I start to have any kind of like towards, or that someone's going to betray them.
Writing them
yeah. But the fact that Tyrannos is like, and apparently other people knew that Woon was in love with her before she did. That was just like, I don't understand this whole situation that she didn't accept his resignation. I just feel like that little bit was just not really needed because it doesn't connect with the rest of the story,
or at least pad it out more, because obviously there was the part where he handed her resignation, she said no. Hilo said that she was blind for not seeing it because obviously he knew it and the Make brothers knew it. But then the next thing I know, he's now got a fiance, and I was like, hang on a second, where did this bird come from? Who is this person? When did this happen? But I have to also remember that this book crosses over multiple years. Like it spans.
Yeah, it does. And she does that well.
3.5 years, 2.5 years, something like that. The amount of time that Andon is abroad, but
yeah, longer than we thought he was going to be, which annoyed me. I was like, please just bring him home because he's been through enough.
Yeah, but he goes through more in this book. Also, the other thing that felt very left field, the moment of Andon and Corey in the car.
Oh my god!
I was like, where's this coming from? What?
The thing is, when you listen to the audiobook and you listen to how Corey interacts with Andon, it's not evident from very far before that happens, but you can tell by the way that he does the voice of Corey when they're having the conversation that Corey finds, and you can feel the tension when you're listening to the audiobook. So although it going so far was not expected, I didn't expect all of that to be a thing. But yeah, I did. I thought they were gonna like kiss and just like, oh, he was gonna say that he's bisexual. Yeah, just he would come out to Andon and be like, yeah, I am bi. I do like both, and not actually just like a full on like a make out session in the car. Like, oh shit, this was.
It went from 0 to 100 very, very fast. I was like, Jesus Christ, what?
Poor Andon, like he's never properly been with a person in his life.
I was like, I'm aware that you find this man attractive, but at the same time, consent is still a thing, and I don't think he gave it.
He's just like, oh, I like you, I'm gonna kiss you now, and he's just like, okay, I'm just gonna. Oh yeah, it was.
All of a sudden, trousers down. My friend. Jeez.
Yeah, that was a lot. Their relationship. I mean, in a way, I liked the relationship when they were together, but I'm never a fan of people having to keep the relationship a secret just because they're queer, and especially in a fantasy world, it doesn't need to be a secret. Like, and I know that obviously there's a lot of like Asian culture in this, so that might be part of the reason why it is still, even though it's a fantasy world, it's needing to be a secret. But the fact that his first real relationship and his first real feelings that he has for someone, he has to keep it a secret, and it's seen as like dirty, and like and even to a point where his father was, oh my god, I liked his father until this point where he told Andon, like, after that I didn't like his dad.
See, I get where you're coming from 100%, but I also interpreted it slightly differently, because the way I interpreted it was more the fact that his dad was rightly or wrongly, because Corey was the only one who was green and wore jade, and he wanted it to be passed down to grandkids.
Yeah,
like that's the way that I read it, not in the way that Andon was bad and wrong, more so the fact that he didn't fit into their plan for their son, which is also another bad thing, don't get me wrong, but yeah, but I can see how it could be interpreted that way as well. But I think that could also be a difference between reading and listening. Like, I don't know how his voice sounded when he said it, whereas in my head it sounded more like business meeting reasoning, if you know what I mean, rather than like hateful.
Oh no, it wasn't hateful. It was, and he sounded very sad to say it, but it was very matter of fact in the way that he said it. It was just like, but they had a very traditional view of what, and it's exactly what Corey said before during the conversation, was that his dad had a very traditional view of like what Corey's life was supposed to be like. And basically it was just him reiterating that, as like, Corey can't be who we expected to be if you're in a relationship with him, and you can't ever like be together properly, right? And it's not the life they want for their son. And it wasn't like a threat or anything, but it just, I don't know. I think it's just because I'm really, really not a fan of keeping relationships secret just because it's like, just because you're queer, you like, because it mentioned in both like Kekanese and Hispanians, it's seen as like a bad thing in both. So like Andon can never be himself regardless of where he lives, like both sides of him. But like both sides of his heritage, how he actually is, like who he is as a queer person, is not seen as a good thing, and like he doesn't fit in anywhere. And I just felt really bad for him at that point.
In the book as well, Hilo does say that Hilo makes a point of, well, not a point, but Hilo does make a comment about Andon liking boys, which is the first time we're told about him. I think he'd be fine with it, but Corey also kind of frustrated me a bit in the fact that he knew, and he said it, because he said it before they even really got together, that this probably wasn't what his family would want. And when Andon told him, like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh god.
Like, so angry about it. And I get it, because he cared. They cared about each other. I get it. However, he did say at the start, this probably won't last. My family have a traditional view. They'll probably want me to settle down and have kids once I agree. So he saw it coming. And I'm like, it's from your dad. Like, it's not Andon's fault.
Yeah.
That your parents are so traditional. You knew it. You saw it coming. Why make this poor boy feel so bad? And then obviously, after everything goes on at the end of the book, like, they have like a little conversation or something, but he was like, I don't forgive you. I'm like, forgive him for what? Like, he didn't do anything wrong. Like,
no,
he didn't want to do it, but it was either, you run away together and you live in the middle of nowhere, or you both go back to your families. He wasn't going to come between the family. I think
the way that Cora reacted was really aggressive and like not required at all. But I think it was also a case of that he wanted, for the way that it came across to me, was that Corey wanted it to be this thing for however long Corey wanted it to be a thing for. And it's because Andon, I think it's partly because his dad had found out and had a word with Andon. He was angry at that, so he wasn't at home at the time, so he couldn't speak to his dad about it. But also, he probably angry because he also knew that it had to end anyway. but he was just angry that it came from Andon, not him. Because
Yeah.
in the relationship, it was very much Corey was in charge. Corey was the experienced one. You know, in many different ways, he was experienced compared to Andon, and he took charge quite a lot in their like relationship. It was very much not an equal dynamic at all. And it's when Corey said, "I want you," Andon was like, "Okay." It was very, very much that dynamic. It would never have been Andon saying, "I want you," and Corey being like, "Okay." Do you know what I mean? It was.
I
So
agree.
the fact that he ended it and not Corey, I think that was sort of what pissed him off as well, which wasn't a healthy relationship if you think about it.
It's a bit like when he was last at home, and Corey mentioned about having a one-night stand with someone else, but don't worry, it didn't mean anything. Like, I was just like, right, there's one thing to have fun, like, do it. You're both consulting adults, do whatever you want. However, make sure both people in the party are happy to, go off with other people, because Andon I think that was the other reason I got very annoyed that Corey was so aggressive when Andon ended it, because I was like, dude, you weren't in it as much as Andon. Andon only wanted you, and you were like, I do. And I'm not saying you didn't care very much, but at the same time, you're more than happy to go and have a one-night stand with someone at school.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm literally thinking nothing of it. And it was just kind of like, oh, it don't mean anything. It's fine.
We were drunk, fine.
Yeah.
No.
Even though, it's like, well, we're not exclusive, but you know for a fact if Andon had said, oh, yeah, I slept with someone while you're away, he'd have flipped a lid. It'd have been like, I can do it, but you're not allowed to.
Mm-hmm. And it was a very toxic, like, dynamic. I don't think they were toxic together, but just their dynamic and who was in charge and what, like, that was just not for me. It was
See, for me, and now that Andon's back home, I have a feeling that in the next book, fingers crossed, he will find some happiness. And I like the idea of him and Lot. Do you know the who Hilo has had a conversation with when they went to see what's his name? What's his fucking name? Sapunyo. Yeah, Sapunyo. His dad died in the first book. Yeah, when they went to Sapunyo and he took Lot with him. I always thought that Lot had an attraction to Andon. That's the kind of vibe that was given off in the first book. Then obviously everything happened where, Andon
got sent away.
Andon didn't become a Greenbone, and then so they were technically not living like separate lives, and then he got sent away. But I think the reason why I'm thinking that Lot has a bigger part to play is because he keeps being mentioned.
Yeah.
And it's not like an in your face kind of like, here he is. It was just, it's like a slight reference, like when he took him to Sapunyo's to see how he reacted and how he held himself against in those kinds of situations, and then Hilo had a conversation with him, and the fact that it's not saying this is an important person, but I feel like it's not just a throwaway sort of thing that happens, because he keeps coming back like at the funeral of his granddad, Lot was there, and it mentions that Lot was there, and it keeps bringing him up.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's a coincidence that happens. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but
no, we'll see. Or maybe we're trying to fall in love with him to have him killed.
No, please, no. He's been through enough.
There was so much in this book, though, this time round. Like, everything that Shay goes through as well. Like, not even just the bit at the end. Like, the fact that she has to kill Doru, and she doesn't, and she fails, and she feels like she loses Hammy's respect, which she does, and he's, a bit of a dick afterwards. But I also understand it, because she's meant to be like the weatherman and in charge, and she follow through on that. But at the same time, I understand why she couldn't, because Doru has always been in her life.
Yeah.
But Doru as a character just obviously frustrated me, because that's the whole point of him, I think.
Yeah.
But the fact that everyone knew that he was a perv, and it was just like, yeah, it's fine.
That makes me cringe so hard. Like, that whole conversation that was hard, and then like when he was discussing how he was with the girl, I was just like, for that alone, I would want to hurt him, not necessarily kill him because I don't think I'd be that violent, but he deserves to be harmed for how he treated those girls. Like,
but every time Dora is mentioned near enough, not in passing, but when you physically hear about his backstory, see him, there is always a young female nearby.
Yeah.
Like when she goes to see him and he's being cared for, and there's this young girl who's caring for him. I was like, and even Shay's like, bastard. Like, I'm so glad that she could call him out on that, but couldn't call him out to a level where it actually impacted him. Like, he still lived a very good life. He was a man for way too long. Her grandfather just let him get away with it. I was just like, is that part of like turning a blind eye that infuriates me. Like, Andon can't be himself in a consensual relationship.
Yeah.
But it's okay for men to use their power and their station over young girls. And I'm not saying it's always that, but in this book, it is just one man.
Yeah.
Spoken about.
It is very much a case of that's deemed okay. Like you said, you can't be in a consensual relationship just because you're gay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that whole thing was just no. In the end, I'm glad he did die, and his story has come to an end because he'd already like beaten them once, he'd got away from them once, and his side of the story needed to come to an end because that plot needed to finish so they could continue with so they didn't drag it out longer than was necessary. But for me, it would have been way more satisfying if she'd have killed him.
But I think that's the point as to why she didn't, because it's just highlighting that fence that she's on quite well, because it's like, I hate him because he's disgusting, but at the same time, he is my uncle and he's been in my life for my entire life and he's never done anything wrong to me.
Yeah.
It's that kind of like, he's always been seen as family. I agree, his death wasn't satisfying because he blew his brains out, but
I wanted to blow his fucking brains, I'm not gonna lie.
It made sense for it to be that way because he knew she wasn't gonna do it. Yeah. But he also is the prime predator almost, in the sense that he knew how to talk to her to kind of bring back that, oh, he's still my uncle, rather than anything else. Him being like, you were always my favorite, and all these
so manipulative with his words as well.
Yeah.
And I think one of the worst things is like some of his beliefs and like what he was trying to do. Well, the annoying thing is what he was trying to do kind of made sense. He went the wrong way about it. Yeah. He used his power for the wrong reasons. Mm-hmm. He was a very manipulative person. And yes, I get the whole book is about like politics and underhand tactics and all that kind of stuff. But it's just like if it had just gone about it a different way, the family would have probably got behind him and maybe understood him a bit more. But it's just not. It's not the one, really, is it? No.
Not really. I agree. I mean, I did like that moment when Hammy came in afterwards, after he heard the gunshot, and just the description of like the look on his face. Obviously, showed that he'd lost. She had lost his respect.
Yeah,
and kind of being like, "Oh damn, I should have just done it."
Yeah, I think she's still very much. She's in it with the clan. She is a weatherman. She knows what she needs to do. But there is still, you can tell there's still a part of her that's like wishing that she didn't have to be this person. It's not, it can, because it does keep mentioning like when she went to Espinia and she did her own thing sort of thing. Like it's like part of her still wishes that she could live a normal life. Hence, the conversation she had with Morrow about, are you intimidated by me because I wear all this jade, or because of my standing in the clan? And are you do you understand that because I am the weatherman, there are certain parts of my life that you will never know because you are not in the clan and you refuse to align yourself with the mountain or no peak clan because you refuse to do that. And you are just in your own little academic bubble, that there are parts of my life and what I do that I can never be honest with you about. Like that. You could tell that she hates having that conversation and she doesn't want that to be a thing. But she has to remind him that of who she is.
Yeah, I also think they were both very naive in this relationship, because she obviously, the way that she thinks, she's like, oh, because he's not part of a clan, it's fine. I'm like, no, because he's important to you. So I knew it. I was like, something's gonna happen. He's gonna die.
I was like, someone's gonna use him against you in some way because you are who you are. He is not aligned with anybody, and especially when it mentioned that he had a part of him, his heritage, that he couldn't tell people about because of
Ushotarian.
Yeah, because everyone hates Ushotarians. Regardless of what side you're on, you hate them because of what they did. And even though he personally hasn't done anything wrong, he is a Ushotarian, so he's seen as a lower person. And again, there's part of him that they could never be honest about, and they had to hide from everyone. So you just knew as soon as that was mentioned, I was like, oh God, no, something's gonna happen.
But I was really hoping in the part where he's visited by the goons, and then the next time I see him is when they go to the wedding together as friends.
Yeah.
I was just like, why didn't you just tell her?
Yeah.
Why? Because it's very clear in that scene that he wants to do something.
Yeah.
But why not? Why not ask for, and that, the fact that you was just like, yeah, they're gonna tell everyone about my family and they're gonna kill everyone, and I'm like, everyone's gonna kill everyone.
That's what they've been doing for a book and a half, is it?
Yeah, that's what these people do.
They've been killing each other for ages.
Yeah. Have you not seen the war that's been going on the streets? Everyone's dying. Just because you read doesn't mean you're unaware of the world. It's very the rest of us.
No, that whole thing was. I know that there's a reason behind that, because of the betrayal sort of potentially had to happen, because not everyone can get out of this situation unscathed. Do you know what I mean? If all of our characters got through to the end, all peachy and and we are all in the second book, so what I didn't expect was for him to betray her. I thought that he was going to be used against her in a way that he was going to be held at ransom and she had to do something like the mountain when they took Andon. I thought they were going to take him and use him against her so that she would do something that I wanted her to do, because obviously even though I won't say that she's intimidated by Shay, she keeps coming to Shay with to have conversations with her. And clearly Ide's in a not so great position because she has no heir and she's having to acknowledge another family so that they can help run the mountain clan. So she knows that Shay and the No Peak clan in that respect are in a better position because they now have heirs. And there's that whole dynamic. So I just assumed that she was gonna try and get the one up on them by taking a boyfriend, because that, and that he was going to be used against her, or that it was going to be outed as a Shatarian, and maybe Hilo was going to give her an ultimatum, like him or us kind of thing. But that twist, I did not expect him to actually have betrayed her with full knowledge of what he was doing.
Yeah, and when she questioned him and he was like, they didn't tell me that the family were going to get hurt. I was like, you are not that naive. Like, surely you're not. No, because even if they didn't tell you that they were going to be planting a bomb, right? These people that don't really wear a lot of jade, put 2 and 2 together, my friend. What are they going to be using as weapons? They're going to be using actual bloody weapons rather than, essentially magic. So why did you think? What did you think they were going to do? Fill his car with pillows? Like, it's just so frustrated. I was like, you cannot sit there, kneel there, whatever you're doing, and be like, I didn't know. I didn't know that.
These mobsters, these underhand people came up to me, threatened my life, and threatened to out me to people that I cared about, and but I didn't think they were going to do anything bad because they seemed like nice guys. No,
yeah, they just wanted to kill Hilo. Like, it's fine, just kill Hilo. Off you
go. I was just like, oh, how could you love this guy?
Didn't think anyone else would go in the car. It's like, what, the family car? Hilo's car that he uses to drive his family around? Oh, yeah, no, don't worry. I'm pretty sure it's probably got bloody kid seats in the back. What did you think? Honestly, I was like, when Shay actually killed him, I was like, right, like, just do it. I was like, no, don't take that. You deserve better.
The only thing, again, it's like she's in the center of like quite a lot of these deaths, isn't she? When you think about it, like Doru and then Muro, and
then everything that happens to Wen is because of her, essentially.
Oh, right, okay, we're gonna talk about that in a minute, but I need to prepare myself that bit. The fact that she gives him like not an honorable death, but like a less painful death because she channels the aura into his brain to like stop him. I'm like, he doesn't deserve that. Like, I don't care how naive he is. He deserved his throat slit. He deserved to be beaten to a pulp. He deserved
Tar deserved to hang him up in a bloody bunker and
100%.
have his way with him violently.
Yeah. Violently.
Yes. Not have his way with him any other way.
Yeah, Tar deserved that revenge.
100%. Yeah. And Wen.
Yes, she realised she loved him. Yes, great. Well done for you. But
feelings.
It wasn't your choice.
Yeah.
If it had been to do with Lan or him hurting Hilo, like actually physically hurting Hilo, or one of her family members, then yes, she had the right to take his life.
Yeah.
But the fact that she also put that guy in a really awkward position, that was just like, oh yeah, I'm the weatherman. Yeah, like, oh, I'm the weatherman, and like you go bad about what I'm saying, sort of thing. And he's like, it can't say no to the weatherman because
he's not actually the Horn. Because that was the thing. Because no one had officially said you're going to take over now. It was just assumed because he was the first fist.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, well, I'm not going to leave you with this guy. Like, don't be stupid. Like everyone seems to leave her with people. Have we noticed this too? Like, she was left with Doru multiple times, mind, and they're like, yeah, just go. It's fine. I'm fine. The man had a bloody gun. Like, you're fine.
She's lucky. She's not dead right now.
And she's got her innards became outards at one point.
Oh, that made me feel sick listening to that. Like,
yes, it was this book. This is why I was like, I really want to start the next one, but I was like, I can't.
Yeah,
I was muddled.
Yeah, I was so close to starting Jade, like I said, and I was just like, maybe I shouldn't because I will get things mixed up. But
at least if you get them muddled with Jade War, like we've already spoken about it, Like
yeah, that was fine. But the whole Clean Blade situation with her and Ait was just intense.
It was. I was like, please win. When finally dropping like little bits, going like they both looked at each other and realized, oh my gosh, Shay can kill her. They're on the same foot. Shay is in her prime. Ayat's a good fighter, but she's past it because she's 30, which is not. Like I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, let's go. But I was like, yes, kill her, go on. But then again, if she had died, then we probably wouldn't have a trilogy.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, mortally wound her. Don't just take her ear or part of her ear.
When she took her ear, I was like, oh shit! Like she
oh my god, she done something bad!
You actually taken part of her ear off.
Well, just take something substantial, you know, like an arm, a leg. She tried to take it innards.
Like I was genuinely worried she was gonna be a goner. But and then when you think about it though, like she should have died at that point. Like that whole
just
thing,
kneeling, holding her intestines, like I surrender.
Well, it felt like such a long time. Like that whole scene was just. I was like, is it going to end? Is someone going to come and help her? Because it was just constantly, and Shay was thinking this and this was happening. And I know that in like sort of real time, it would have happened in a matter of seconds. But it dragged out so long with all these thoughts and feelings and like what's going to happen. I'm like, please, somebody just come and like
put her innards back in.
Yeah, put her innards back in. Like heal her. You've got channelers with you. Like somebody do something. I was just like, please. I'd like wait till the lights go out, and I was waiting for one or the other. Like her was like, and then everything went dark, and like she was gone, sort of thing.
It sunk to the bottom of the riverbed. Then it
no. But yeah, that whole thing was just. She writes scenes so well, and she knows how to build the tension. But sometimes I'm just like, please stop her. Just get somebody some help because she's dying.
Give us an outcome, please.
It stressed me out.
But at least I do think that I feel like I'm more like attached to everyone in this book compared to the last series that we read, because now I'm like they can heal a lot of fatal things, but you weren't getting resurrected. Like there's none of that wishy-washy magic going on.
And she still is affected by that, though. She was affected afterwards. The fact that there are consequences at the end of this as well. So maybe she didn't die, but when she saw right again, and she was trying to convince her, that like when she found out she was behind she was working with Sapunya before he died. It's like the scar in her stomach like twitched or something like that. So it's like it's a reminder that she's still scarred by what happened. It still affects her, and it's still part of her. And it's a reminder every day that she's got a scar across her stomach because of this woman. So it's not totally dismissed and forgotten about, like it never happened. Just because she's been healed physically, and the fact that I still made her feel comfortable and still gave her memories of like this woman almost killed me sort of thing. Like I do like that. It isn't just pushed under the carpet like it didn't happen.
I do like that, and I like the feeling of consequences because it gives you stakes, and stakes make you invested, and invested gives you the 5 stars.
Yes, like I feel like I want so much for these characters now that if anything happens to any of these main characters that we've got at the moment, I will be very upset. Because they've been through so much. They've been through so much. And before we get to the we've totally missed a bit.
Which bit?
Aine and Nico. Hilo going to. I called her Amy, didn't I? Because I've been listening to it.
Amy.
I've been listening to it audibly, and I was like messaging Chloe, "Oh, Hilo killed Amy," and she's like, "Amy? Did I miss a character?" No, it's Amy. It's Amy. Sorry, that's why I thought it was Amy because it sounds like Amy, but it's spelled Ayni, I think. Lan's ex-wife.
Yes, I'm with you now. Amy is how I was saying it, but we're all just saying it in different ways.
Yeah, so that's why I thought her name was Amy, because it's pronounced Amy.
Cantonese name, Amy. Good on Amy.
I was like, no, it's spelled Eyni. And I was like, that doesn't compute with the brain.
No, that's fair enough. I say names how they are, literally spelled, hence mudded and Sweeney. But yeah, to be fair,
that whole thing, like when they found out that Lan had a son, I was like, oh, cute. Lan's gonna have an heir. They're gonna have, they're gonna have an heir, and it's gonna be, and maybe they're gonna have. Amy's gonna come back with them, and even though she was very reluctant, I thought she was gonna end up coming back with them, and their child would have someone to grow up with, and it'd be quite cute. And I don't know how she would fit in with the clan because of what she's done, but the fact that Hilo was willing to forgive her and bring her back and bring the husband back, or partner, whatever he was to her.
That person.
I thought that was gonna be quite a good thing.
Yeah.
I disliked her a lot.
God, yeah. But I also kind of wish there was a little bit more. Not necessarily about her, but about why she changed. Why, like, it's kind of brushed over that they found the letter and she's obviously saying, like, she's really sorry and Lan's gonna have a child, and she basically wants to repent for her sins or whatever, and she wants Lan to know it, the son. And then I understand that she has to find out from someone else that Lan has died, but I don't really understand what she expects because, one, they're not married anymore. Two, she cheated on him and abandoned them all. And three, she didn't talk to any of the family, so I don't understand what she expects for them to tell her anything anyways. But then he goes to see her and all of a sudden she's like, no. Like, wall up, defenses up, shut down. I was just like...
Even after he says, look, we've only just found the letter, which is why my wife wrote to you. Like,
why were you so rude to her? Why were you rude to her? When is lovely?
When is like the best? She's just such a being. Like, just...
I was so suspicious of her in the first book because
Same.
It just seemed like she's like, I want to know everything, and I'm like, why? Why do you want to know? Why? And then now in this book, I'm like, do you know what? You're a badass. Like, I love you.
Yeah, she is. She's great, and the fact that when they're like, oh well, Annie was rude to her, and then Hilo was like, all right, I'll go see her then, and I was like,
I'm gonna teach you a lesson.
But initially, and like again, because of the way that it's told in the audiobook, you could sort of tell that he was trying to keep his calm. He was trying not to lose his cool. He was just saying, look, he was just like, we know that we've not had a great history. We know that the past is the past, but I have a nephew now, and we can give you everything and give him everything that he wants and raise him in the family and help him protect himself. Because we all know that if the mountain found out that Lan had a son,
that's it.
That, like, they'd be in danger anyway. So, like, the fact that they could go back with Hilo and then they could protect them and raise him or help raise him, I thought was like a really nice thing to do, especially due to the fact that he just fucking exiled his cousin for not wanting to be a greenbone.
Like his life.
Like, and then he's gone and reached out to this woman, and I was like, you're being a bitch. I really, really didn't like her, but I did not expect him to just kill her.
No, because when that happened, I bounded over with lightning speed and wrapped my arms around her. I was like, right, I thought he was gonna, like, I don't know, incapacitate her to some degree, maybe, but I didn't realize he was just gonna go boom, dead.
Yeah.
I was like, where's? But I do kind of understand at the same time because obviously they turned up at the house. She was packing. They're obviously going to do a runner. I was like, well, what?
I thought he was just going to, like, wrap his arms around him and, like just stop her from running away and just be like, listen to me. I'm here to help you.
Well, no, I thought he was going to threaten her, to be fair. Like, I thought he was going to use, like, his temper was finally going to snap. He was going to threaten her, whatever. I didn't realise it was going to snap and he was going to go all homicidal on us.
But it's the fact that afterwards it was just like, just chilling, walked,
laid her down, made her look like she was sleeping. Come on, Nico, you're coming with me.
Yeah, come on, Uncle. We're gonna go somewhere nice, and then sending his horn in, like, you know,
just wait here for the man.
Yeah, and you know, maybe just go easy on him. He's not that bad, sort of thing. And I was like, no.
I love this. Just popped in from front, and I know the bit you're talking about. I went, whoa.
Yes, it was a lot. It was a lot.
And
this
whole book was a lot.
The fact that when they said that they were going to get rid of the partner as well, but they were like, well, he seems like an okay. Maybe don't go like full, like really harsh on him.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, you're just going to kill an innocent guy who has literally no idea that this is coming.
Yeah.
And I was just boggled the mind, and just the fact that when they got home, like nobody questioned it. Yeah,
like this man who's come home with like a 2-year-old, one to 2-year-old, just appeared. Do you not question that? Like,
well, I'm gonna help raise him now.
By the end of the book, Wen's got 3 children. I did like the fact that like the kids all called Wen mum, but Hilo made it very clear to Nico that he was his uncle because he didn't want to take away the fact that Lam was his dad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, how fast do these people think these people reproduce? Where were they hiding this child? Where? In the car full of pillows from earlier, obviously. Yeah.
Oh God! Like,
I don't know. He like scoops up child, closes the suitcase, and just toddles.
Yeah.
What? And how did Wen not go? This is a bad idea. Like, she's the only one that actually does really have like a brain, like a logical brain.
True.
That isn't like fueled on violence. And I was just like, how did you bring home this child? Like, I do wonder if he brought home the child and then went, yeah, there was a fire, and he's told Wen that as well, and that's what Wen believes, because that's what Andon believes, that there was a fire, and that's why they've got Nico. At the same time, how is the child alive and the parents are dead? Was it in the garden by itself? Like, I have so many questions about the alibi. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I can understand why it happened. But it's still very much I don't know. It was a shock, but I'm not 100% sure what he's going to contribute to the rest of the books. You know what I mean? Like, did that have to happen? Did she? And technically, he would be the heir because he's Lan's son, and Lan was the pillar before Hilo.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be the heir anyways, isn't he? Because he's the green one. Nico, not Nico, the other one, Rune, is not. Because he swallowed Jade, and that was an absolutely stupid thing as well. I'm never gonna hold my hand over his mouth again to make him swallow Jade. What do kids think? Like, I'm sure that's a pretty logical kid thought. But still,
like that whole situation, and the good thing about this book is, you get to see Hilo as a dad, Hilo as like pillar of the clan, but then Hilo just as a human with emotions, and like not knowing how to deal with those emotions. Like, obviously, we've got the situation where he has to act like the pillar of the clan when he kills Aenit and takes Nico, because he's going to keep his blood, his brother's son safe, and he feels that's the only way to do it. So he's got like clan brain on there, a little bit of like family loyalty to Lan, but like clan brain, and then he's got like dad brain when Nico and Rue think it's funny to piss about with Jade, and Rue swallows and Rue suddenly swallows the Jade.
Why do children put things in their mouth? Why is that?
I think it's like a tactile thing, isn't it? I'm sure there's a reason behind it.
Some
developmental psychology shit.
I can think of nothing worse than putting rubbish. You know, I hated chocolate pudding because it felt funny. When I was a baby, I just be like, bleh, because it felt weird.
Just swallow Jade instead and see how that reacts.
Yeah, maybe I would have been all right with that. That would have been more my speed.
The fact that he didn't even bat an eyelid when they were like, "Oh, he's had no effect on him at all," like, and the doctor was like, "He's clearly a stone eye," and the doctor said it with such trepidation, was like, "He's a stone eye." He was so scared, and Hilo was like, "Okay."
Yeah. But I do wonder if that would have been his reaction if he didn't have Nico.
True. And we don't know what the other child's going to be, do we?
Oh, I just want her to be, like, stupidly powerful. It's a girl, isn't it? But at the same, like, when he told Wen that I was just like, she just feels like she can do no right. This poor woman.
Yeah.
Like,
she blames herself, but it's just like, there was always a chance that was going to happen when he got with a stone eye, you know, because we all know how DNA works. So, so there was always a chance that it could have been a stone eye, or it might have been Greenborn. Like, it, you know, it's a 50-50, and yeah, she did take it. She didn't take it the best, but I really did like the fact that he didn't make a big deal out of it. But again, that really annoys me in some ways, because he makes a big deal about Andon not wanting to be a Greenbone, not take it, even though, like, he can, like, you know, you can wield Jade, you can hold Jade, and it's fine. But he's done all this to Andon because he won, and then he's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. My son's not a Greenbone. It's fine."
But I feel like that's more of a Andon won't rather than he can't.
Yeah,
whereas it's not Rue's fault that he can't wield Jade. Yeah, that's just biology. Whereas to Hilo, Andon is just being bloody ungrateful because he's like, I'm not going to because my mom went crazy. Well,
with the itches.
Yeah, there's unfortunately hereditary diseases are pretty common even in the real world. Like, it doesn't. Yeah. You just don't stop doing stuff just in case. Well, unless it's like really bad, obviously.
But then obviously when we are following Andon, we meet this whole separate section of people that are just, it's a proper little found family, isn't it? Like, you've got the foster family that take him in, and then you've got
they're like, you're better than our sons. You do more for us than our children do.
Oh, what were they called? They're called what was it? The Hyans.
Yeah.
And then it was and then finding out there's like a whole Greenbone situation over there. There's like an underground thing because they can't wear Jade like out in the open because it's illegal.
Yeah.
And you've got the pillar that lives in like a little house that and we meet
and they're rocking up like, this is a really weird house for a pillar.
And you've got really cozy vibes, they've got fake Jade on the counter and all this kind of stuff. But that when we first meet Dauk, I like him. And I like his wife. His wife's proper little sassy one, isn't she?
Yeah. She's proper, like, she gives the den mother vibe. Like, she's looking after everyone. She talks to everyone. She's like, she's like, yeah, people come to me every week for healing sessions. And I was just like, oh, that's quite cute. That's a nice thought.
And what was his name? Was it Round? The guy that
they built like a house.
That was his horn that wore the Jade gloves.
Yes.
He was great.
He was great, past tense, because Shocker, he dies. But I don't also that whole scene where Wen obviously kills the bad guy, like, and she was like, "We're getting away." And I was like, "Yeah, go off, guys! Like, job well done." And then all of a sudden,
I knew it was gonna go bad.
I knew it was going to go bad, but I didn't think it was going to go bad like that. Like, I expected there to be more of a fight with the people around this dude, and then them just about get away and do that way, rather than these skinny Reams or whatever his name is appearing at the hardware store, shooting gun, and then I was like, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you, man?
As soon as he shot him in his legs and he couldn't move and he couldn't reach his Jade gloves.
Oh, I knew he was gone, but I didn't know what was going to happen to Wen. I was like, what are you doing? No. Leave her alone.
I was sat on the court just tearing up, like, please, Andon, like, find a way to get to some Jade, find a way to do something. Like, and he was just sat there screaming because he couldn't get to it, and I was just like, oh, this whole thing was just not okay. I
And
was
now
not.
I don't know what's happened. That's another reason I want to read the bloody book now, because I'm like, what's happened to what? Is she compos mentis? Like,
Yeah, because we don't know by the end, do we? We know that she has survived, but we don't know what
she's
brain damage
recovering
might have
and she's
occurred.
paralyzed, and I don't think she can talk.
No, because we don't know what brain damage has occurred, obviously, because we don't know how long she was without oxygen. But that whole thing. But again, Andon saves the day. Andon, even though everything that he's been through, and even though he knew the absolutely ridiculously horrible effects that Jade had on him last time, he still risked that happening again to save someone that he loved and that he's like part of his family. And that, to me, like, even if he hadn't have gone back and said, I want to choose to go and learn about healing and be a greenborn in that way, even if he had have gone back and said, I still don't want to touch Jade, I would have welcomed him into my family with open arms. Like, you've saved my life, you've saved my wife's life. Like, you know,
not even that. Like, the thing that frustrates me with this whole scene with Hilo is that he's obviously like butthurt, and I get it. Like, I really get it. Well, I get it with Shay, not so much Andon, because it's not his bloody fault. Nothing is ever this poor kid's fault. But like, the fact that even if he hadn't have saved Wen, if Wen had died, Andon, it was not his fault that this group of people that Hilo arranged to sell Jade to wanted to come and kill the horn of this magical new clan. Like, come on. Just forgive the poor bugger. He's been through enough. And it's not his fault. That's what bugs me. Andon does annoy me in the fact that he's a bit of a wet blanket.
He is. He just needs to grow some balls.
He gets shouted at about some of them. I'm like, dude, just bite back.
I feel like very, very much he does need to stand up for himself. I know that with Hilo, he doesn't argue back because it's like a respect thing, because Hilo's now the pillar, and he still sees himself as, no matter like how much I've welcomed him into the family and helped raise him, and he still sees himself as like this outsider that's not fully blood like part of the family. So he feels that he can't.
He could have shouted at Corey.
Yeah, he could have done. He could have given Corey a piece of his mind and like just not. No, that was not okay. And been like, I'm not okay with how things were, and I wanted him to realize how toxic the relationship was. I wanted him to come to his own senses, being like, this dynamic is not healthy and it's not something I want in a relationship. Even if I have to give a relationship secret, it should still be an equal partnership, which it wasn't with Corey ever. So as horrible as I felt for Andon having to break it off, because I know Andon like probably loved Corey, I was glad anyway, because like he deserves so much better than Corey. And also it did give him the opening to go back home and like move back home and start his life back there. But in a way, I am glad that he has decided to wear Jade, but in a healing way.
Yeah, I like that.
And to use it for healing rather than fighting. But even then, he was still saying it in a very cowardly way to Hilo, being like, "Oh, I want to use it for healing if that's okay. Like, if that's the only, like, will you accept me if I can wear Jade that way?" And I was just like, "No, just say, like, I deserve this. I want this. This is how I'm gonna live my life.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
And just do it.
Yeah,
grow some balls, please." Because
grow up, man. You're grown up. What are you doing?
You've not been around this guy for years, and he's not been the nicest to you. So just tell him, tell him, like, because that's
people are gonna walk all over you. You have to like learn to say no.
Yeah, so he's not gonna be. He wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes as like a horn or a fist or and because he's far too much of a softer. Like, yeah, he couldn't just go and kill someone just because Hilo said so. I don't think he doesn't have that violent streak in him, does he? So this,
no, which is good, I suppose, in a way. But at the same time, people that aren't built like that don't really have a place in the clan, because the whole point is that you are essentially mobsters.
Yeah.
And death does happen to a lot of people, and you have to be scary, and you have to kind of like take money off people and try and take over establishments and stuff in a really weird way of Monopoly. But like, at least, I don't know, like, I'm really hoping that Andon has some sort of redemption arc in the next one, in the sense of he stands up for himself, or he kind of figures out what he wants to be in the world, because at the minute he's just all over the place, and I would like a clear trajectory for him. That would be nice.
Yeah. And I want him and Lort to get together. I know that I've said it plenty. I do love romance in a book. I know
you are a romance girl.
I am a romance girly, but only in like the right situations. Like sometimes I think romance isn't required in a book, but I think in this case, I just want him to find some kind of happiness and know what a healthy relationship is. And I think that Lort could give him that. I feel like he deserves that.
Like, not I don't think it's a prediction, but I kind of want it to happen in like the toxic side of my brain, in the fact that I kind of want Woon and Shay to have like a bit of a thing.
I mean, maybe now that Moro's dead.
But he's married.
Oh, he isn't he?
Hence the toxic part of my brain.
He could just divorce her and like maybe she might be.
That's fine. That works.
Unalived? I don't know.
Yeah. And I
just want Shay to be happy.
Everyone's gonna die, but other than that,
I feel like at least one more person we care about is gonna die. I'm not sure who that will be. I think it might end up being Shay, because she has come close to death quite a few times. Like,
thinking maybe Hilo.
I don't know. They've already killed a pillar off, haven't they? So I'm just thinking logically. So they've killed a pillar off, and like the unexpected, like Horn has like moved up, and Hilo has had like this massive character growth. Although his Horn side still comes out sometimes. But I feel like Shay is like, I feel like something might happen with her. I'm really hoping it's not Andon, because I really just want him to find happiness.
I could see him dying in sacrifice for Hilo.
Yeah.
Not as in
which is what I'm scared about.
But as like
yeah. Kind of thing. That's what I'm scared about. I'm scared that he's gonna put himself forward, because he's still gonna think that rather him die than another pillar die.
I do think that maybe it won't be so. I wouldn't. Well, the way I see it happening isn't so much about seeing another pillar die. It's seeing Hilo has got his kids to live for.
Yeah.
Because
it depends on what happens with Wen.
Forever alone. No one's gonna love me again.
I feel like it depends what happens with Wen, because if
she doesn't. If she becomes invincible, like it's just not gonna end well for anyone.
No. I feel like Hilo's gonna. If anything else negative happens to Wen, I think Hilo's gonna just lose his shit, and he's gonna drop the whole pillar, and like full on violent Hilo is gonna come out, and there's gonna be no reasoning with him until he finds out exactly who is like the head person responsible for hurting his wife, and he is gonna go on a full on revenge mission to kill these people and like fuck everything else.
Yes, I see that happen.
I feel like that would, if something really bad happens to Wen and she doesn't recover, that I think that's gonna happen. But
I also feel like it could be something happens to Andon, and Hilo is like, I should have forgiven him.
Yeah.
Either way, someone's gonna die. That's my whole thing. Is death and destruction.
Yeah. I think Death and Destruction wise, it's either going to be Shay and Andon who die, Shay or Andon that die, should I say?
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be anyone else. I want it to be a bit of a situation where, you know, there's going to be another big war situation, but I want everything to. And I know that I know that I say this sometimes, like I don't really like totally convenient endings, but I feel like with all the shit that everyone's been through, if this lot were to survive by the end, it would be fine because they've lost enough people that they care about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they
They've
can
been
live.
through enough. Shh, they're not.
Dude, have you seen how big that next book is?
Yes. Yes.
Like, I know it's not a big book to a lot of people, but like my average is between like 400 and 500. That's like almost 700 pages, I think, maybe more. I don't know. It's chunky.
I've got this to read.
What's that one?
Heliotrope by Palmer Pickering.
Yes. I have Age of Reckoning to finish off this month.
That's fun. Are you enjoying it?
That's 3 books in one. I haven't actually picked it up since I read like the first couple of chapters because I was reading Jade War.
Well, I'm glad.
I like where it's going.
I'm glad that you're enjoying it because I want to pick that up next month.
It's good. I'm wondering where it goes next. Obviously, like I said, I'm only 30 pages into it, but I have high hopes.
High hopes.
High hopes. The northern kind of hope.
Oh god! So next month, the final book.
Well, we're meant to be reading it this month technically, and then talking about it.
Yeah, talking about it next month. I've got so many books that are going to break me. I know, I'm not ready. I'm putting them all off, but I'm scared. I'm going to be in a lot of pain this next couple of weeks. I've got Dark Dawn. Nevernight, yep. I've got Dark Dawn. I've got Queen of Air and Darkness. I've got Jade Legacy, and Our Dark Duet by V. Schwab. All sad books.
Maybe start with Our Dark Duet because I feel like that's going to be sad, but like possibly not as. I haven't read the series yet, but not as sad as like J. Kristoff killing everyone.
Yeah. I'm already preparing myself for someone that I care about dying. So, yeah, I think that's probably what I might do. After this is just go and like listen to some other books, but you know, I'm scared. I'm very, very scared.
I would be.
Oh, I've got plenty of water because I swear to God, the amount of crying I'm going to do, I'll be dehydrated.
Make sure you catch it all and you can keep yourself going in the drought that's probably going to come.
I'll recycle my tears.
Yeah, people do that, I think. Maybe not compos mentis people, but people do that. It's better than whatever else you can recycle that comes out your body, so...
True. Very true.
Well, I think that concludes the live show on Jade War.
Jade War?
Jade War. Ready for Jade Legacy?
You do a good Northern accent, not gonna lie.
What are you laughing at me for? I should do. I'm half Scouse. I should be able to talk Northern. To some degree, but my Northern does often come out a bit Herefordian / Somerset occasionally, so just what mood I'm in. This one comes out. I blend in well up north.
I don't blend in anywhere.
I'm just like, hello, duck.
Oh god, I hate my accent so much.
No, I love the northern accent. Don't hate it. I hate mine. Oh, hello. He's back to voice. Yes, you are back to voice. It was weird. We've finished talking about Jade War, and now we're discussing accents.
Oh,
I love accents, and I have a few. To be fair, it just depends who I'm talking to as to which one comes out.
Depends on my mood.
not even that. Like, if I watch, Jack finds it hilarious. If I listen to too much country music, or if I watch too much Young Sheldon, my Southern American just gets stuck. And he's like, "Can we just not?" And I'm like,
You're like, no.
Like, I'm not doing it on purpose.
I get that. I do love that accent.
Yeah. Can't stand listening to my voice, so there's no way I'm editing BookTube episodes with me on it. Oh, but like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the voice. I don't like my. Don't know if you have this, Lisa. I don't like my candid voice. So when, like, if Jack films like a candid clip of me talking to him, I can't listen to it. But when I film, I have like this radio friendly accent that I've got. That's what this is. This is my radio friendly accent, like pretty English. You can tell where I'm from. You can tell I'm from England. But when I talk to Jack in Candid, it'll go from this accent to Northern to Hereford to Southern American to back again, and I just can't listen to it because I'm like, how can anyone listen to that? Confusing.
I just change my accent all the time. Do whatever accent I feel like doing. Not very well, mind you, but I do it and it makes people laugh. So I'm like, I'm all good.
It's the Australian one that I always notice from you.
I do love a good Aussie accent, yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, can't do it very well, but yeah.
It's just that H2O bit that you
I know.
Is it Gemma that does it with you?
Yeah. Cleo.
That's it.
Oh God, me and Jem just random voice note to each other all the time. Stupid accents, but it's fun. What makes life interesting.
It does indeed. On that note, as we've been gabbing for an hour and 15 minutes.
Bloody hell.
I know.
We had a lot to talk about.
You all to it in your evenings or days, whenever you're watching this. Live or catching up. If you're catching up, hello from the past.
From the past.
Yeah. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Next one's on Lisa's channel. Wait, that way.
Yes. And in answer to your question, Tough Day, I've not started it yet.
I haven't started it yet either. No. I might finish it after this. Might finish it? No, definitely not finish it. I might start it after this. Can't finish that many pages in like an hour. That's bonkers. But anyways, bye. I just hit myself in the head. Bye.
You fucking did.
Yes, I am.